Since day one, I've been telling y'all that prison is a business, that it's all for profit, that we don't have anything to gain from it. Some of y'all catch it, some of y'all don't. Well, today, I've actually brought somebody in that has been to prison that can share their experience with y'all. Because I never been there, so I can only talk from the outside looking in. But this man here has been here.
My name is Deontae. Everybody know me as Tank. You know, when I was 17, caught a charge in Rockdale County, Conyers, Georgia to be exact. A couple of charges: motor vehicle hijacking, armed robbery, possession of a firearm. Eventually, I got him knocked down to one count of robbery by intimidation. They sentenced me to 15 years, 6 years under the Georgia First Offenders Act. Sadly, I had to do the whole 6 years. So I went in when I was 17. I came home when I was 23. Basically, had to become a man in prison.
So when you were committing the crime, did you ever feel that you would get caught? Like you would ever end up in prison?
Nobody think they were going to get caught. A lot of the boys in the dope game don't never really want to quit because they don't think they'll ever get caught. I mean, the money too good to them, so why stop?
Yeah.
I mean, and what I was doing, it came easier than selling dope. I mean, why sell it if I can go take it from them after they sell it? You know, take their car and take their rims, ride around on their rims.
Let the people know which prisons you were housed at. I know it was a lot of them.
It's like a system you go through. Once you get your time, you sit in the county jail before you do anything. Once you commit a crime, a lot of people, they have this misconception that I hear a lot of people talk about, especially a lot of rappers. They were like, jail, and been in jail, this prison. But jail and prison is two totally different things. Jail is the county. That's the jail. Prison is where you actually doing some real time at. You know, it's two totally different things. You know, once you get sentenced, you know, you'll sit in the county jail for a couple more months. Then on Tuesdays, certain days they house out. I believe it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you be shipped out. And you go to a diagnostic prison first. It's kind of like you being introduced to prison. Yeah. Not like, it's kind of like where you're gonna go through to get your medical at, and they just really sort things out. After I left Jackson, I went to the Georgia Diagnostic Prison where they just executed Troy Davis at, which is what death row at, and that's crazy just seeing them guys in that cage. Cause you know you can see them on the rec yard, you know, and they in their own little rec space. You know, I left there. I went to Altuawn Correctional Facility. I believe it's in Forsyth, Georgia. That's where they train. A lot of the police train down there, like parole officer. You want to be a parole officer, probation officer, SWAT, and all that going on down there. I left there on a disciplinary transfer because I was a little hot-headed. I was young, and a lot of it stemmed from me being in there, and I didn't really want to follow their rules. You know what I'm saying? To be told what to do. You know, I was 17, 18 at the time, so a lot of my trouble in prison came from dealing with the officers. I got plenty of write-ups, and I was on restriction plenty of times. You know, I done wrote you plenty of times, told you I'm on restriction, can't go to the store, you know. But anyway, I left there. They sent me to a disciplinary prison, which I believe was in Nichols, Georgia. It was a private prison, private-owned prison, called correctional, and they make a lot of money out of private prisons. Private prison. I left there. I stayed there for about 14 months. Left there. I went to a county camp in Spalding County. I went to Griffin, Georgia. Went to Spalding CI. Stayed there about 4 or 5 months. Didn't like it. I wasn't really with the working, with the detail, with like the free work, walking 10, 12 miles a day, picking up trash. So of course, I rebelled on that. You know, I bucked the detail. They sat me in the hole about 7, 8 days. And eventually, they transferred me. They sent me back to the state. Left there, went to Macon State Prison, which is in Georgia considered one of the, quote unquote, one of the toughest prisons because it's a high max prison. A lot of stabbings, killings, beatings, gang activity, and stuff like that going on down there. So they sent me to Dooley State Prison. I stayed at Dooley State Prison about 2 years. Left there, went to the halfway house from there down in Swainsboro. So eventually I left there, but the whole plan was I was trying to get closer to home. I was trying to get to the halfway house in Clayton County, but it didn't work out as planned. the chief and the warden down there, they really kind of bent me over backwards and sent me back to prison for my last 3 months before I came home. And what they sent me to, it really wasn't no better. They sent me to another high max prison down near Valdosta, Georgia. They sent me to West State. And out of all the prisons I've been to, never have I seen so many fences. Fenced around the yard, just fences everywhere. And it was crazy because I was ready to come home at this time. And as soon as I got down there, you know, an officer had got stabbed up. So I'm like, man, I can't be around this. I got to go. I can't deal with it. I'm at the end of my bed. I can't do this no more. And, you know, by the grace of God, I made it home October 3rd, 2009. I maxed out on 6 years. Came home.
Describe the day-to-day prison experience.
I had a detail in like every prison I went to. I always worked in the kitchen. I just didn't want to be sitting in the dorm not doing nothing productive. Basically, my day started off as like, you know, an officer would come wake me up about 4:30, 4:45. Go to the cafeteria, you know, get things set up. I think in prison, most prisons, they start serving breakfast about 5:30. By the time they get through about 7:30, they get ready to count again. You know, my morning over without the count. I go back to the dorm, have to get ready for inspection. And inspection is basically like, kind of hard to explain if you ain't been in there, but if you've been in the service, it kind of make more sense, because prison is kind of like, they run it like the Army and the Air Force and stuff. You know, it's basically where, you know, the guys, they had to have the dorm clean and everything, and the warden goes around to every dorm, and they basically just come in and basically they inspecting the housing conditions. That's basically what they're doing. You know, you have to, before they come in, everybody had to be standing on line at attention. They come in, you had to sign off, sir, good morning, sir, which I hated. Hated. They had to do it for 6 years. Basically, you don't sound off, you might get thrown in the hole for that. Yeah.
Just that simple.
Just that simple, you know. Then basically after that, they'll probably start serving lunch about 12, 1 o'clock, around that time. You know, basically they'll call rec, you know, go outside, play football, or work out, do whatever it is that you do, however you do your time. And they'll probably count again. After count, they'll probably start serving dinner around 4:30. And after that, you know, they'll probably call rec again, and after that, pretty much the day is over with. After rec, you're really inside that dorm, you know, to lockdown. You know, most prisons, they lock down Monday through Thursday at 11 o'clock. That's lockdown, you know, where TV's off, you're in your room, it's over with, you know, ain't no more coming out.
How often did you see inmates in there that regretted the decisions they made that got them in there?
You see it all the time, man. And you know, you always have the ones that's professing their innocence, but you never in there, you really never know, because everybody not guilty, and it's crazy, you know, because when you in there, you talk to some guys, like I say, man, the imagination run wild in there, man. You running into astronauts, firefighters, and everything in there. You be whatever you want to be in there. But it's a lot of guys in there regretted their mistakes, because you got to think, man. When I went in, a lot of my roommates and stuff, or a lot of the guys that I was cool with, they had been locked up since I was born, since before I was born. I was born in '86, and you had guys been in prison since '86, '87, '88. I'm just coming in the system in 2004, so you do the math on how long they've been in there, and probably still sitting in there to this day. So, of course, you know it's hard on them, you know, especially if they got kids. They see their kids grow up, their kids my age now. So, you know, I'm pretty sure, if not all of them should have regrets. They better have regrets about what they did by being in there. That's just crazy not to regret it. You got to spend the rest of your life in there. That's just crazy. If you get life in Georgia now, you have to do at least 30 years before they even think about paroling you. So if you go in there when you're 17, by the time they think about paroling you, you're going to be 47.
Wow.
And even then, it's not guaranteed. You got guys been in there, like I say, since like 84, 86, just the 80s period. They came off of parole 3-4 times. Write them off. Well, we want you to do another 5 years.
Wow.
here it go again. They come back up for parole. Want you to do another 5. And that's just how it go.
How often did you see brothers that just came in out that was just lost? You know, like this guy coming here used to being on the streets, doing what he do on the streets, and then he come in prison. Boom, it's like a reality check.
Yeah, well, you see that a lot, especially with a lot of young dudes. Because they be lost, especially if they not really new or hip to what's going on. And that's really how a lot of them fall victim or fall prey to a lot of the, not just to the sexual abuse, but just fall prey to just being misled into all the wrong things, just so-called following the crowd, you know, in the prison life, you know, get caught up in all the gang activity, which is some bull. The next thing you know, you walking around the yard, you get stuck up for something your homeboy done did. But you associated with them, so you associated with that type of stuff, so it gonna come your way.
I heard some horrible stories about the food. So really, like, how was the food?
The food was so horrible at a time when the cell phones hit big in the Georgia prison system. It used to be so horrible. I used to just want to take the phone in the cafeteria, just risk taking it, and just snap a picture. I was like, man, cause I used to tell y'all all the time how horrible the food was, and I used to just want to take a picture of it and send it to y'all. Not just how bad it was, but really the proportions of it, or what they feeding a grown man in there. Because really, if you're not making commissary, which is the store in there, if your people not putting money on your books, you're gonna starve in there. You gotta think, grown man, you go to breakfast at like, if you in the first dorm, they might send y'all to eat at like 5:30, 5:45. Then you eat again at 12, 1 o'clock. Then you gotta think you eating dinner at 4, 5 o'clock. When normally on the street, most people don't eat dinner till normally after 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it, you know what I'm saying? It's on a different pattern, but then what they feeding you, like one tray, you like, how you gonna give a grown man a side of some carrots and one chili dog? You know, like probably like 2 pairs.
Like elementary school.
Yeah, it looked like an elementary tray. Basically, you know, that's really where a lot of violence started from. You got a lot of young dudes in there who they crazy. You know, it's really fun. It's really sad to see them really like prey on, like, you know, I'm not racist. Like a lot of times they prey on like the white boys and that, and it's crazy. You got them young dudes, they click up, they ain't getting no money. They might do get money. They probably gambled it all away. That's what they gonna do. They gonna go take it. They don't care what they care. They got 10, 15 years. They gonna go take it.
So it's like the Wild Wild West.
The Wild Wild West in there, man. It's really, the white boys in there don't really stand a chance. It's like they outnumbered in there, you know, and it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But that still don't make it right. You know what I'm saying? It still don't make it right. So a lot of times I used to feel sad about it.
Wow.
So you get in situations where they like taking food and
Yeah, they take food. That's happening normally. Like that happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? They'll come mess up the whole floor of what's going on in the dorm. As far as like, you know, everybody in there damn near got cell phones, but you making the dorm hot by doing that. Especially taking from the white boys. So of course, once they say something or complain, or they get on the phone and call their people on the outside, that make them crack down on what's going on in there. So the people gonna come there and want to shake down and harass us and everything, really just make our life worse than what it already is.
Yeah.
You know, so that's routine, that's daily routine. I mean, you can just imagine, like, take a few of the knuckleheads off any of these corners and you put them together. So you already know what they gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, in an environment like that, you know what I'm saying, it don't make you no better. It really kind of make you worse if you ain't got the right mind frame for it.
On movies and stuff like that, you may see homosexual activity. Does it really occur in them?
Look at ours. The hit show from HBO, that's prison. What go on in there is what go on in prison. Just like what happens on that show. It go on in there from the rapes to the punks. I mean, then you got some punks that come in out the street that was already gay. Not saying that they was turned gay in there, but you know, a lot of them do a lot of the white collar crime, so they're in there doing time.